Disney and Lucasfilm are currently working on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a handful of live-action TV series, The Clone Wars Season 7, and even the upcoming new Star Wars trilogy. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about the future of the Star Wars franchise is of course the mystery of it all as to exactly where we are going after the events of Episode 9 and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to handle the future of this massive franchise. Now, like I have always said, in my point of view, the future of the Star Wars franchise really does depend on Episode 9's success and exactly how it's going to resonate with the Star Wars fans around the world. Now, what's really exciting is that we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are not only working on Episode 9, but they're also now focused on the new Star Wars trilogy, also known as the fourth trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about the future of this franchise, and what's really exciting has all to do with the fourth trilogy. Now, it's described that not only are Disney and Lucasfilm currently focused on The Rise of Skywalker from director J.J. Abrams, but they are also focused on the upcoming new trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones. It said that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently in the early stages of production of the three films and are beginning to search for who would play some of the lead roles for the first film dubbed as Star Wars X. It's described that Disney and Lucasfilm are in negotiations and are doing everything in their power to get Tom Hardy on board into the Star Wars franchise for one of the lead roles for the first film of the new trilogy that will create an entire new saga that will stay true to George Lucas and his vision. With Tom Hardy set to begin work on Venom 2, War Party, and Mad Max The Wasteland, Disney is looking to fill in the void for Hardy after that with the first film of the fourth trilogy. It's unclear if Tom is aimed to portray a hero or a villain, protagonist or antagonist, but they are working very hard of getting him involved. Hardy was also a stormtrooper in The Last Jedi for a deleted scene that was deleted where he worked with John Boyega for around 2 days. So let's go over a couple of parts about this because the future of the franchise to me really is going to be very intriguing to see exactly how these Star Wars movies are going to work out since they are aiming to get a lot of A-list and B-list actors on board of the Star Wars films. So in case you guys have not been, tuning in or haven't been following, there is going to be a fourth trilogy that's going to be created by the guys who developed Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. I know that there is some, I guess you could say, worry about where that franchise is going to go after how they handled Game of Thrones Season 8, which is understandable. But keep in mind that this is a brand new franchise, it's being built from the ground up, and that they are working very closely with George Lucas and his vision, as well as exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm want to do in order to stay true to George Lucas and his vision. In my eyes, that basically means that we are going down into the Old Republic route and that era of the Star Wars franchise without a doubt. So, with that being said, Tom Hardy, I think, is a great fit for Star Wars, and I can really see why Disney and Lucasfilm are trying everything in their power to get him on board for, of course, the new Star Wars film dubbed as Star Wars X, also known as Star Wars Episode 10. Keep in mind, that's just a code name, that's not the official title of the first film of the new trilogy. So Tom Hardy, he does have some experience at least with the Star Wars films. He played a very minor role in The Last Jedi as a stormtrooper that was ultimately deleted from the final cut of the movie where he worked with John Boyega. So with that being said, what's really intriguing to me is who could he really play in a Star Wars film? Tom Hardy. And I started thinking to myself, in an ironic way, he could very well play Darth Bane. And the reason as to why I bring this up is because, well, if you look at Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, you can really see the potential he has to portray such a sinister character that is ironically also bald, but we can see how Tom Hardy can really harness the power of a villain and exactly where that could really go in a Star Wars film. I tell you guys, I mean, if you watch The Dark Knight Rises and you see his acting skills, you see how he's able to beef himself up from, of course, working out and eating all these different things, how he went on this big diet for the Dark Knight Rises. Yes, they did use some prosthetics here and there, but ultimately, it was all Hardy. He really did train himself to become pumped up like that, and he's going to do it again for other movies out there to come in the future. So for him to play a character like Darth Bane would make a lot of sense. I really can't think of anybody else. And if you think of anybody else, I mean, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about all that below in the comments, because Tom Hardy, at the end of the day, really great actor. He does have a lot of skill. He really does know exactly how to play a villain. In my point of view, as much as, you know, there were a lot of mixed reactions with the movie Venom, I think he was great in the movie Venom, and the fact that he's back for Venom 2 is even all the more exciting, and I would love to see him on board to come into the official MCU. So on top of all this, you know, Disney, Lucasfilm, they're also looking at Keanu Reeves, they're also looking at Leonardo DiCaprio, and they're also looking at Charlize Theron for roles in the new Star Wars movies for this new trilogy of the Star Wars universe. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.